What's up, y'all? So today we found out that a really close family member of ours has a pretty major health problem. And we're optimistic and we're prayerful, but it's a harsh reminder that our health is not something that we can afford to take for granted. It's easy to get caught up in the busyness of our life and put these things off. you know, we'll take care of it later. We think we'll deal with it when we get a chance, but the truth is sometimes later might be too late. And I say this to people that I talk to about health and fitness almost every day. Usually I'm saying it when someone is hasn't got some really terrible situation that they're dealing with. Usually we're talking about preventative maintenance rather than something after the fact. So this just brings it home a lot. And this experience made me think a lot about how we each have our own threshold when we're going to take action on our health. Some of us get uncomfortable or upset when we gain a few pounds, immediately start making changes, get a trainer, whatever it is. Maybe we cut back on junk food, hit the gym more regularly. But there's those of us that wait until things are much more serious. Sometimes people don't make changes until they've been diagnosed with something like diabetes or even after a heart attack. And even then, some people still struggle to make necessary changes. So why do we wait so long? And I think part of it is that mentally it's easier to ignore the problem than to face it. We live in a world that is absolutely full of distractions. I remember as a kid in the late 80s and 90s, all the parents and sort of talk shows were saying, what is TV doing to our kids? What is MTV doing to our kids? Looking back on it, it's crazy how limited our technology was then. We might have had just as many really bad influences. Maybe they were worse than we realized, when you look back from like a parent's perspective. But in terms of the medium, it's like if it's not on right now, then you got to go do something else. But now we all have unlimited access to anything we want pretty much 24 hours a day. So when life gets stressful and overwhelming, we turn to this like entertainment or whatever it is that we like to numb ourselves. And that can be binge watching TV, Netflix, scrolling social media, or using food as a coping mechanism. These distractions can keep us from confronting the reality of our situation until it becomes too big to ignore. It's like we're putting a Band-Aid over a wound that needs stitches. We cover it up and hope it'll heal on its own, but without the right care, it just gets worse. By the time we finally decide to take action, the damage is often much greater than it needed to be. The thing is, taking that first step can be the hardest part, but it's also the most important part. And our culture does not help. We're surrounded by food everywhere we go, but it's not the kind of food that nourishes us. Our culture revolves around food in a way that's not sacred or intentional, but consumeristic. It's about convenience and indulgence. The snacks we see in every store we go to, they're filled with nasty oils and chemicals and inflammatory saturated fats that contribute to all of these diseases that we're all trying to avoid. And these aren't just abstract concerns, they're realities that are affecting everybody. And it's younger and younger ages now. So you take a look at the health statistics today, diseases that used to be rare in people under 50 are now being diagnosed in their 30s. Kids as young as teenagers have fatty streaks in their arteries that will later become plaque, and then if not taken care of, worse, cardiac events, these things. So even in the 20s, it's unbelievable. And it's not just like some bad luck, it's our food supply. Here in our country, our food is filled with hundreds of chemicals that are banned in the European Union. In other parts of the world, ban them too. These chemicals are not just harmful in the long term, they're impacting our health right now, every time we take a bite. It's something we need to take seriously, especially when we think about the impact on future generations, our kids. And this brings me to another important point: generational health. As parents, we have an unbelievable responsibility. Our kids look to us for guidance, and the habits we model are the ones they're going to adopt. If we're eating poorly, if we're not taking care of ourselves, there's an almost certain chance that our kids will follow in our footsteps. It's not just about avoiding disease in our lives, it's about setting a health example for our kids so they don't inherit the same problems. Try to think about it this way: the choices you make today are laying the foundation for your children's future. You want them to struggle with the same health issues, or do you want to set them up for a life of health and vitality? It's a very heavy responsibility. I feel it every single day. Food has been a coping mechanism for me since I was a little kid. And I mean, with all the crap in the food, how can it not be, honestly, unless you're so intentional about this? But I think there's an opportunity in everything that I've brought up here. By making changes now, you can absolutely and positively influence not just your own life, but the lives of those you love the most, perhaps even friends that are close to you. You know, in the personal training world that I've been in for a long time, I don't know how often I see one spouse get started on their health transformation, and the next thing they know, the other spouse is like, man, you're really doing a great job. And then they get that encouragement. So a lot of people can be impacted by one decision. Now, I know all of this can sound overwhelming. We're all busy. The good news is this kind of change is possible. I see it every day. And it doesn't have to be complicated. With the mentorship that we offer with Holy Mountain, and previously to this through BearFit, the gym that I've owned for 10 years, I've seen people make incredible transformations in just a few months. We're not talking about fad diets, quick fixes. I've always been against those types of things. This is about creating a sustainable, healthy lifestyle that you can stick with for the rest of your life. It's about making small, manageable changes that add up to big results. One of the things I love the most about what we do is the way that we help people is realizing we help people realize, that's what I'm trying to say, that they don't have to give up the foods that they love to be healthy. It's not about restrictions. It's about finding balance and making choices that support your overall well-being. When you have a solid plan, when you have someone that holds you accountable, and when you start seeing the results, everything changes. You start feeling better. You have more energy. And you realize that taking care of your health is not just about avoiding disease, although that is really important, but it's about living your best life now. And that's the thing, is that, yes, we all want to avoid being sick in 2 to 5 to 10 to 15, 20 years, but only God knows our future. You know, some of these things are out of our hands, but the beautiful part about this is that when you make these changes, when you actually, what I like to say is burn the boat and stay on the island, give yourself no way out, make a commitment. When you do this within a week, within a month, you feel better. You start to have more energy. You also just feel good for making the commitment. I mean, there's some level of positive energy that comes from after years of either avoiding these things or trying things that aren't working. Just that consistency gives you a very positive sort of emotional state. So all of those things, even in the short term, they matter. So if you're feeling like it's past time for you to make a change, if you've been feeling this way for a long time, or if you know somebody that's close to you, I encourage you to take the first step today. We, my wife and I, and those on our team, we've created a free Facebook group where we share daily tips on holistic health and weight loss. It's kind of just getting off the ground, but there'll be more content coming in there. It's we want to have a supportive little community where you can start learning and making small changes that add up. If you're ready for something more personalized, you can DM me directly. We're here to help. We can guide you on this journey. We have anywhere from 3 to 5 new people each month that start a mentorship with us here at Holy Mountain. We purposely work at a very low volume, meaning I don't sign up a lot of people for this. I've been in gyms. When I was a manager at Gold's Gym, we had to have 300 new members every month. And so the gym industry is high volume. It's high turnover, a lot of attrition among like members and stuff like that. And that's because there's no actual attention that's given to each person. With our practice, you come in, we spend as much time as we need to spend. And we communicate every day. We have remote, like kind of walkie-talkie communication with each client. And we do meetings here in the office where we do body scans and we do progress reporting. We have weekly reports and bi-weekly things. So you have tremendous amount of attention to detail. Everything is individualized and built from the ground up. So if that's the kind of support you need, if you've tried dietitians and trainers and gyms and classes and diets and all the stuff that's never worked, this is the next level solution to that. I left that industry where I've been pretty successful for 20 years to do this because this is the type of services that people need in 2024. A lot of these things, these other solutions that I've been a part of, they worked in 1990 and 2000 and 2010 and all this. But post-COVID, it's very hard for most people to commit to doing the same thing at the same gym on a regular basis. I've seen this more and more, not just in the little world that I'm in, but all of the friends I have in other cities, all around the industry, everybody's saying the same thing, that people are just too busy. And so my desire was to take the skill sets and the experience that I have and commit to helping a few people make a lifetime transformation, make a permanent transformation so that you don't have to jump around from diet to diet or from gym to gym for the rest of your life. But all of these things matter more than we can even imagine. And from time to time, we get reminded of that. And today, that was a reminder for our family. So, as I said, if this is something that resonates with you, please reach out one way or another. You can join our group. You can DM me. And I'm happy to answer questions that you might have about our coaching or just about health in general. And also, if you're a person who prays, please be praying for our family. I'm not going to get too specific on here because it's kind of new, but just be praying for our family if you would. And hopefully I'll catch you guys here really soon. Peace.